Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. Now let me just get my timer set up. How about, yeah, that should be appropriate, I think, for today's subject and the amount of time I have. Hey everybody, oh shucks, that is, I I left my console cam on and you can now see what kind of shoes I wear. Let me turn that off. There we go. Yep. Hey, happy Wednesday, Clackaboy. I've got some new music by Sudrian Afro, who composed this specifically for me, and I enjoy it very much. So check them out over on YouTube. And so today we're playing Clu Clu Land, which is one of those games that pretty much next to nobody cares about. It's a 38-year-old Nintendo arcade game, and if a game did not get a slot on the NES Classic Edition, like 85% of people these days, especially under a certain age, consider it a shovelware game. and if it was on the NES Classic Edition, it would have been accused of stealing a spot from a more worthy game. No, it's not themed around dorms in particular. It is themed around something. I'm not gonna say what it is yet. Let's just say that's a work in progress. So this game... Alright, I forgot to turn off... There we go, that's more like it. Yep, so here is my menu for my my NES games on the NES app of Nintendo Switch Online. And I arranged all my black box games together, all those early NES games. And if you're not familiar with the black box sort of idea, a lot of these early NES games were all made with this unifying sort of design language. And this design sort of concept for the boxes was a big deal at the time, because these were some of the first times that a North American game developer actually used a representation of in-game graphics to depict what the game was like, instead of using some sort of really dramatized sort of artistic representation. They actually just had the nerve to show what the games themselves looked like, so there'd be no chance for disappointment. And yeah, so Clu Clu Land and Pinball are some of my favorites. Super Mario Bros. Is probably one of the most famous games from the series. So this game came out 38 years ago. So it is officially old enough to be a grandparent. If Clu Clu Land had a kid at 18 and that kid had a kid at 18, Clu Clu Land is old enough to be a grandparent. So this is well before my time, but it's a game I loved on NES. So let's get started. And we'll start the timer. So this is a spinning pufferfish video game, which I know is a very well-represented game on the market. This was developed by Nintendo Research and Development Team 2. It's actually it's believed to be a fusion of a combination of employees from Nintendo R&D 1 and 2 developed this game. Now, how this game works is that I am playing as this red pufferfish, Bubbles, or Gloopy in the Japanese version. And Gloopy is a pufferfish that holds her left or right hand out, or fin perhaps in this case. And I don't control Bubbles directly. I hold out her left or right hand. My only controls in this game are holding the left or right hand out. And doing that allows her to swing on these poles. And this is supposed to be, I guess, a fanciful representation of the ocean floor. And these evil sea urchins, who are our enemies in this game, and we took our first credit loss right there. And these evil sea urchins have stolen the gold that of Clu Clu Land, and have hidden it in this maze. And it's not a maze in the Pac-Man sense, but it is a maze in the sense that Clu Clu Land is not on the NES Classic Edition, which I find to be unfortunate. If this game was on the NES Classic Edition, I guarantee there would have been widespread complaints that this game stole a slot from a more deserving game that wasn't shovelware. Because unfortunately, a lot of these early NES games that are very these score attack NES games are often considered among, especially a lot of younger gamers. And I'm not saying that I'm not exactly old myself, but among gamers of a certain age, even just 3 or 4 years younger than me, even people my own age often have a tendency to consider these arcade-based high-score games to be kind of just sort of shovelware games, as opposed to the more deserving games like Super Mario Bros. 1, 2, or 3, Kirby's Adventure. They'll look at these earlier NES games as kind of a waste of time or space. These sort of like what the heck are these things, like, you know, like when I'll go look, and when this game was announced to be included in the NES, like a lot of any game that wasn't one of the more famous games that are more known from appearances in Smash Brothers or appearances on the NES Classic Edition, they will often be considered, oh, like Nintendo's dumping more shovelware on the Nintendo Switch Online instead of the real good games. And so I am flipping over these. I'm going through these intersections on this playfield, and in the course of doing so, I'm revealing these gold ingots, which happen to be the same sprites they later reused as rupees for The Legend of Zelda. And so there's no end to this game. My only objective here, this is kind of a maze game in the tradition of something like Pac-Man, Lock and Chase, the Electric Yo-Yo, where you're just going for a high score and surviving for as long as you can. Now, and unlike Pac-Man or Lock and Chase, I'm not controlling the character directly in terms of my directional controls. I'm using the inputs on the D-pad to change the direction that Bubbles travels in. Now, the hazards are these sea urchins. If I run into the sea urchins directly, I will lose a credit. But I have a button. I can press the B button to stun the pufferfish. I mean, to stun the sea urchins. And when they're stunned, I could crash them into the wall. Now, there's no way to stop Bubbles in her tracks. The only way to change Bubbles' direction is to swing around on the poles, or to... Yeah, you either have to swing on the poles or bounce into a wall and go back in the opposite direction. There are also these pink bumpers that are hazards when they're revealed. They also form part of the image. So here, they use the two black holes, which are another hazard in the stage. The two black holes combined with the bumpers are going to form a picture. I know this picture is eventually going to be a, this picture is going to form a, I guess you could say, like a submarine, I think this picture is going to be. Now, my time units are not in seconds, they are kind of in frames, I think. And I'm running very low on time, so I have to hurry up and solve the puzzle and reveal the last few parts of the puzzle. There we go. We see we have the submarine, and the two portholes are represented as the black holes. Now, there isn't a proper sequel to Clu Clu Land. This is what this is kind of a... Well, this is the original Famicom game that was ported directly to the NES the following year in 1985. This is a 1984 release. And in Japan, this is kind of like NES Pinball, where they had Pinball for Famicom and NES, and later they made a Versus System enhanced port of this game for Nintendo Versus System. The Versus System version of this game was only released in Japan. It was never released in North America. But in 1992, now, okay, so that's our first game over. Now, we are going to be playing the Versus System version of this game. Now, if you look on my title screen here, my hold screen, you'll see the box art for the NES version of Clu Clu Land on the left, and on the right, you'll see a portion of the poster for the Japanese... This is a flyer for the Japanese arcade release of Clu Clu Land. So we'll be playing that in the back half of the stream. Now, in 1992, they released a Famicom Disk System port of the... Yeah, it's basically a Famicom Disk System port of the Nintendo Versus System version of Clu Clu Land, which is basically the final release in this series. It was released in 1992 as the second to last. It's often said the game, which ended up being known internationally as Clu Clu Land D, is considered by many to be the second to last or the final NES or Famicom Disk System release. Now, what happened there is I grabbed a... Now, if you look here, this is forming the shape of a mushroom with the little eyes on it. So I have to collect those last couple of... Yeah, I collected a clock, which freezes the enemies, but I forgot that freezing the enemies doesn't make them vulnerable to attack. See, I still have to separately stun them so I could crush them against the wall. There we go. We completed the picture, and now we've got the full mushroom, and we get to our high score. Now, this little image of Bubbles dancing there is one of the only really bits of character, I guess you could say, or a characterization that Bubbles gets. There's really not much to her. That artwork you see next to the box art of the game in the on my layout is really some of the only artwork that exists of this character. And I guess Bubbles, at least in North America, I don't know if this is true in Japan, where she's known as Gloopy. The character is known as Gloopy, but in Japan, this is one of the games that, I guess maybe one of the first games by Nintendo with a female protagonist. So we got the clock there. So that lets us freeze the enemies. We can crush them both to get some more points there. Bam, there we go. Yeah, unlike the Power Pellet in Pac-Man, the sonar is always available to Bubbles. I don't know if, I don't think sonar is something that real-life pufferfish can use, because Bubbles is supposed to be a pufferfish specifically. But I know the ability to send out a sonar blast to confuse or stun enemies is something that reminds me of another fish protagonist from a piece of classic media, that being Mr. Limpet from The Incredible Mr. Limpet, the Warner Brothers mixture of animation and live action elements, which is set during World War II and is about a nerdy, well, it's basically a stock nerd stereotype from before the era of computers and video games. He's a nerd who's obsessed with fish and marine biology, and he wants to, he's kind of like Captain America, where he wants to join the armed forces during World War II to serve his country and fight the Axis powers. But he is physically unfit to enlist, and he keeps attempting to enlist but is unable to. So he tries to pitch in by donating blood and stuff like that. And he accidentally falls off of the Riegelman's Pier in Coney Island. Or is that... He falls off... I think that's Riegelman's Pier. Is that what that pier is called? I know it's the beach is Manhattan Beach, even though it's in Brooklyn. But he falls off the pier and discovers that he... Well, no one really knows why. It's not really explained, but Mr. Limpet, the Don Knotts character, falls off of the pier and transforms into a fish. And he discovers that as a fish, he has this sonar power that is called the thwum. Ends up being called, after the sort of onomatopoeia of the sound effect that it makes, which is able to confuse the sonar systems of the Axis submarines. So he's able to assist the Navy by disabling mines and sending torpedoes back at the Nazi submarines that launched them. Oh, Azure S714, you know that movie? Yeah, that movie was one that my mom introduced me to when I was really little, like 3 or 4 years old. Because even as... listen, sometimes... I mean, it was a golden age of storytelling where you could have some... Like, nowadays, if they made a movie like that from scratch, there would have to be some kind of thoroughly explained scientific, science fiction reason where he was part of a... You know, they'd make probably a backstory like, oh, he was part of a government program to genetically enhance people to be able to transform into sea serpents to fight to sink Axis ships and submarines. But the experiment went wrong and he just transformed into a small little wimpy fish, but he had the sonar power, so he was still able to fight any... No, it's just like, no, he just falls in the water, he turns into a fish, no one knows why, and they just run with it. Yeah, it's a really charming movie. Now, watching it as an adult, well, watching it as a kid, I was really more, well, I loved, you know, sort of transformation, metamorphosis type stories as a little kid. And so there was that appeal to me, but what really got my interest was, well, I grew up in New York City, and I knew Coney Island, I knew, you know, the amusement district that was centered around Surf Avenue, so it was cool being able to see Coney Island back in, like, the 1950s when they filmed this. And there's some good old shots of the of old subway trains back when they had those wicker seats. I think the trains that they show in that movie are, I think, if I'm really remembering this from just my gross memory, but if I remember correctly, they're the BMT, the Brooklyn Metropolitan Transit D-type triplex cars, the articulated 3-car units. You know, it's funny, this Oh, okay, we got them both. Okay. We're gonna crush both of these guys. Now, unfortunately, you're not able to see your score until the end of the stage. So we can't see our points tally up in real time, which is a really satisfying thing. If there's one complaint I'd have about this game, that would probably be one of the two. If there are two complaints, the difficulty ramps up a little too quickly, I think. And the fact that you can't see your score in real time. But Clackaboy was saying this game slightly reminds you of the classic arcade classic Pengo. Actually, I just thought of this. Now I'm going to pause for a second. I'm going to pause briefly, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on my own website. And I forgot, I would have had a hotkey ready for this to drop this in here. But I have a web page. Oh goodness. What's going on? Okay, there we go. That's more like it. Yes, I have a web page that I wrote years ago, and it's funny because in 2008, when I put that page up, it really wasn't the kind of thing where, like, I remember I made in like 2004 or 5, I actually did make a video review. Okay, I just had to guess. Yeah, I made a video review of Clu Clu Land, filmed off my like 4 megapixel Kodak digital camera. That was not even a digital video camera. It was just a digital camera that had. You see, when I grab those, I need to stop. When I grab the clocks, which freeze the enemies, I keep forgetting that it doesn't. Like, because you freeze the enemies, my sort of gut instinct as a gamer is to assume that I've also stunned the enemies, but freezing them in time and stunning them are different mechanics in this. Yeah, so I never played Pengo, but I never even saw Pengo, but I do, I'm assuming it involves a penguin, and so, you know, we have sort of marine wildlife sort of theme going on, at the very least. If it's also a maze game or something, I really never checked. That's a game whose name I've heard, but I never really looked into. But yeah, there's my my little link to my webpage on my website about Clu Clu Land. Yeah, in 2004, I made a video review of Clu Clu Land that I posted. I couldn't even. There was no YouTube or anything. What I did was, I just put it up on like Kazaa or something like that, because if you wanted to share videos online back then, that's what you did. I mean, I know Kazaa has a reputation for like, oh, piracy and pirated videos and movies and whatever, but if you wanted to share if you wanted to watch videos of people's pets being goofy, or of people playing pranks on each other, or just things like that that are associated with YouTube now, you'd have to look for it on Kazaa or a similar file sharing service, and just download it and then watch it on your PC. And so I remember I filmed a 1 or 2 minute video review of Clu Clu Land, and what I did was I recorded with a VCR and a videotape. I recorded a few minutes of Clu Clu Land gameplay footage directly from my NES, and then I set up my camera to sort of kinescope capture the video footage directly off the monitor. Well, directly off my television, and then I wrote my review. I wrote the copy for it. So then I played the videotape. Then I pressed record on the video camera, and just recorded myself watching. Record the gameplay going while I talked on camera about the game. Oh, this is a game that's kind of like Pac-Man or Lock and Chase. And it's an arcade game starring a little pufferfish that rotates around. And the rotation, this game is called Clu Clu Land. And what that actually is a sort of a romanization of the Japanese onomatopoeia for spinning or turning. The game Kuru 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 Rin, where you're spinning around as a little penguin in a helicopter. Man, no, you're not quite a penguin, you're a little bird in a helicopter. I was about to make another penguin tie-in, because Clackaboy was talking about the game Pengo, which I'll read about in a second. Clackaboy just said something about it in chat. This is one of those games that's a little hard to read chat while I'm playing, but I certainly don't mind the chat participation, because in this version I can pause the game. When I move on to the arcade version later, which I never played before, I won't be able to pause the game quite as easily. But Clockaboy's saying you move ice blocks around you kill enemies with these blocks. It's like Dig Dug. Once you kill all the enemies, you progress to the next round. Yeah, and this one, once you collect all of the gold bars, the next stage just begins automatically. Because there are some puzzle games, there are some of these older maze games where once you clear the board, you have to reach a certain... Oh, no, no, no! No, I was only a few frames away from getting that last gold ingot. Right over there, the left, sort of, the left cheek of the dimple on the smile. But let me just check on here, make sure I'm not dropping any frames. Hey, it looks okay. We're doing good, we're doing good. We're doing good. No worries. Yeah, we're doing okay. So... Yeah, once you get to stage 3, the game speeds up radically. And that's one thing I do regret. It's, you know, what game this game reminds me of with the way its playfield is? And it's funny because it's not a video game, it's a pen and paper game. It's one of those kind of games that you might play on graph paper in elementary school and pass between you and your desk mate, and you know, while the teacher's back is turned. The sort of dots game where you fill in boxes and your opponent's trying to do the same. And it's usually played on graph paper or something like that. I was a good kid in elementary school. I never played any games like that or playing Hangman where you're passing notes back and forth. But what I did play, I played the dots and the initials in the graph paper game. I played that with my mother back when I was a little kid, in situations where I was bored. And that's cool, because I remember being a little kid, I had my Game Gear, but I also had an Etch-a-Sketch, and I also had, you know, pen and paper and some coloring books and stuff, and we'd play games like the sort of dots and lines game with, you know, with my mom. Yeah, I had a good time. Yeah, I feel fortunate. I had a childhood that was a good mix of digital stuff and of, like, sort of the timeless stuff that doesn't use any computer technology. It's funny, because actually, just a few days ago, I was watching a Smothers Brothers video about how to do yo-yo tricks. And it's a video that my parents got me for Christmas. Oh, look I know what this one is. I know it. Oh, shucks. You sea urchin got me. Yeah, I know what this is. This is going to be a pair of glasses, like the one I'm wearing right... Oh, no, I ran straight into the... Yeah, you get bamboozled very quickly in this game. Now, I need to clear those two. Now, there's sometimes, like, see, I have to cross over that void in order to... Oh, no, I wasn't quick enough. I was only, like, No, I was 2 ingots away from completing the glasses. Nah. Alright, let's see how good we can get at this. 17,530. Yeah, I haven't been keeping my score on this. The Sonic, well, this weekend, hold on, I gotta check something real quick. I have to make sure I didn't put it into my new... I hope I did not mess up my schedule on my About page, because I, tend to plan my streams well in advance. Hold on. Did I mess up? Yeah, this week, the Sonic, the Hedgehog watch party, and I'll also be playing some of the Sonic 8-bit games. That is going to be on Saturday the 25th, Clackaboy. What's coming up, this Saturday is my, we're going to be watching Nintendo's E3 presentations from 2003 to 2008. So from everything from, like, the midst of the GameCube era all the way up to the infamous introduction of Wii Music at E3 2008. That's what we're going to be watching this weekend. So we're going to be a watch party, but not the Sonic one. The Sonic one's coming, and I've been looking forward to that for a long time. I've been waiting for a very long time for Sonic to become available to watch on... No, I just had to make sure that I didn't put the wrong thing on my my schedule that I posted publicly on my About page. Yeah, if you want to look on my About page on Twitch, I have my... Yeah, I have my streams announced up to July the 8th right now. So if you want to see my next month or so of streams, you can go ahead and take a look and plan accordingly. But there... yeah, so July 8th I'm going to be playing Klonoa Phantasy Reverie Series for Nintendo Switch. Well, it's funny, well, I'll be playing it on Switch regardless, because that's the only system I have that it's coming out on. But when Klonoa Phantasy Reverie Series, which is a remake of Klonoa 1 and 2, they initially announced the game to be coming out for Switch first, and to be coming out on the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 and 5 and the Xbox Series consoles later on this year, like I think by a month or two or something like that. But now all three consoles are going to have their versions out on the same day as the Nintendo Switch, which is fantastic. I'm glad that, I mean, I am a Switch player. I mean, the Switch is the only modern console I have. Well, I do have access to a PS4, but I don't really use it for anything. Because I only have a few frames left. No, I got it. One more. No, two more. Yeah, we got it. We only had 64 time units left. Yeah, I don't know what it is with these old 8-bit games, especially Nintendo's, in my experience so far, and just not having actual seconds as the time units, but just having these sort of, I don't know if they're counting down in terms of frames or what, but it is not based in seconds. Alright, I was like a frame away. Oh no, I got bamboozled. Okay. And, oh. See, I would have been able to attack that sea urchin. Now, you notice, if I'm at the very edge of the screen, and if I'm at the very edge of the screen and trigger the sonar, the sonar kind of scrolls over to the other side of the playfield, which is a behavior a lot of old games have, where the edge of the screen is sort of treated as sort of a warp straight to the other side, the opposing side of the playfield. And I don't think, in this case, I don't think it was an intended feature, but it's one I can use to my advantage in certain situations. Okay, so we have 23,000 points down there. That's our top score for the day. Now this is a game I used to play a lot in like the early 2000s, and I was sort of discovering NES for myself. It's funny because I got my NES in like 99, 2000, right? I really started playing a lot in 2001, but around 2002, 3-ish. Because around 2000, or like when I got this thing in 99, 2000, 2001, I was mostly playing games that I remembered from being a little kid. Games I had nostalgia for, or games that I knew that were famous among me or among kids I knew who had NES. Because I didn't have NES in the 90s. I did play it at a family member's house, which was kind of a rarity. It's only a couple of times I played NES when I was little before I got mine, you know, in 99 when I got it from a thrift shop. Well, I actually got NES I got my NES, technically I had it in 97, but I couldn't keep it. I got it from, my friend gave it to me, and my parents wouldn't let me keep it, so I gave it to another friend who I then drifted apart from, and then years later, by a weird series of events that's kind of complicated and weird, I ended up getting the NES back from them. And at the time I got the NES back from them, I had already, just like a few days before, by sheer coincidence, purchased an NES from a thrift store on Surf Avenue in Brooklyn, and a flea market, which is now a IHOP. And that's right across the street from the Coney Island Cyclone, the famous wooden roller coaster. And what I did was I got an NES, it didn't work, so I sent it to Nintendo in like 99 or 2000. And as far as I'm aware, I'm one of the last people to have their NES serviced by Nintendo of America themselves. But, so when I initially got my NES, I was playing a lot of the more famous games, or games I had nostalgia for. Like, I knew Super Mario Brothers and Super Mario Brothers 3. I'd played it, you know, at relatives' houses, you know, when I was a little kid. And then, Super Mario Brothers 2 I'd heard about, but never played myself. The Legend of Zelda was sort of a, you know, a legendary game. I loved. My first Zelda was Link's Awakening on the original model Game Boy, the original version of Link's Awakening on my big gray brick Game Boy. And then, so I wanted to play the original Legend of Zelda. And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a game I hear my friends talk about that I never played myself. So I played a lot of those games. And then around 2002, 3, 4-ish, I kind of had a rediscovery of... Because I played, like, some of those games, like Super... Oh my gosh, what am I missing? This looks complete. This image looks complete. What am I missing? I can't tell what's missing in the image. I can't tell what's missing. I can't tell what's missing. I can't tell what I'm missing from this image. Okay, the man had a neck little coin there. Alright, I see what's going on. So, yeah, it's kind of wild how NES, at like 1984, this was the height of NES gameplay. Because, especially in Japan, because you have to remember in Japan, Super Mario Brothers wasn't even out yet. So, what's going on? Alright, I have to, hold on, it's a client. Just gotta, if it wasn't something, I just gotta text them back saying that they will have to wait, because they are outside of my posted hours. Alright. Yeah, sorry, you're outside my posted hours and I am live, so you will have to wait. And I'm done with my work for today, so they'll have to wait until tomorrow. I made my... Okay. There we go. Sorry about that little interruption. Alright, so we're going to take that frustration out on that sea urchin and on this sea urchin. Bam, smash both of them. Now, it's kind of, compared to Pac-Man, where there are only a certain number of energizers and they only make the enemies vulnerable for a certain period of time, you can fire off the sonar as much as you want. But the fact that Bubbles is constantly moving, there's no way to stop her movement. And we're getting the eagle again. Yeah, yeah, it's a little tricky with the bumper trying to make the sea urchin go the way I want them to. But now I can get my... Nope, no, almost. There we go, that's what I like to see. Oh, I forgot the head. I forgot the beak over here. Alright. Just gotta get these two. There's only one more. And got it. Alright. So, the sooner you memorize the patterns or realize, okay, it's forming the submarine, or okay, it's forming the eagle, or okay, it's forming the glasses, that's when you could start to plan your route around the field a little more efficiently and strategically. Yeah, so it's kind of in a sense, it's a bit of a territory control game in the way that, oh, excuse me. There we go. So I wanted to check my frames, make sure I wasn't dropping any frames there. Yeah, so it's kind of a territory control game, a bit like Pac-Man, Lock and Chase, Clean Sweep for the Vectrex, if you're familiar with that game. So it's not really, like, there's like a territory control mechanic to it, but it's, I would consider this a form of a maze game, but it's not really a maze. Oh no, okay, now this, you could argue whether or not this is bad game yeah, you could argue whether or not that's good game design, but if you make two bumpers instantiate, you'll get bounced back and forth between them, and you have no choice to either wait till time runs out or hope that an enemy runs into you. So you could argue, you can make your call, those watching, whether or not that's good game design, that's a hazard I'm supposed to learn to avoid, or if they should have really thought that out a little better. I'm not sure if they were aware of that, and if they were aware of that, if they cared or not, if they considered, oh, well, it's just another hazard. I think this is forming, what, a butterfly? Is that what this is going to be? Or is this either a butterfly or a bow tie? I can't quite tell what that's supposed to be. Yeah, so that's clue stage 3 of... Okay. Let's see how far we can get. Alright. And... whoop. And... whoop. Now, if I really want to... Oh, no! I ran straight into the black hole. Now, if I really want to be fancy, I do the movement like this. No. Yeah, this is... The movement in this game, like, there's something that's, like... There's something about this game that's, like, 10% away from being as timeless as Pac-Man, but doesn't quite nail it. The controls are... If you're new to the stream or new to this game, these are not direct controls where I'm moving up, down, left, and right. These are indirect controls where I move Bubbles, the pufferfish, who is my little character here. I move her left or right flipper out to swing around on the poles. And Clue Clue, Kudu Kudu, the Twisty Turny. They could have called this Twisty Turny Land, and it would have probably conveyed the effect more... Alright, so we have no more lives. We have 23,000 as our max score for today. Alright. And, we freeze the time. We grab the clock to... You have to be so quick when you're turning around the corner into an enemy that's directly next to you. You have only a frame or two to nail that that attack. If you're too slow, you just crash into them. And that's one thing. There are other times where I'll grab the clock because the clock freezes the enemies. And I keep, part of my brain, like the logic wants to think, oh, I froze the enemy, therefore they're vulnerable. But freezing the enemies and actually stunning them using Bubbles' sonar attack are different things. There we go. Got him from behind. Bam. And roll here. Roll through here. There we go. Got his left arm. Well, actually, I guess for the actual character, it would be his right arm, I suppose. But he is a two-dimensional being, and we're the ones looking at the figure, so... Wow, I got 2 urchins at once. And they weren't on the same frame, because sometimes you could scoop up one and then the other on the same rank, I guess you could say. But this time I actually collected them both sort of side by side, which is not something I've seen... I don't think I've ever seen that happen before. Alright. Yeah, so there are 33... bars on that stage, and you get a certain amount of points per bar. Yeah, the flag is another bonus point item. There's no particular advantage to getting the pull in terms of gameplay. It's not like the clock where it freezes time or something like that. The clock is the only item that freezes time. I'm not sure if you get coins for collecting the clock or not. There we go. Got it. And we're getting the equal once again. Gotta get his left wing. There we go. Crush. And clear. Get his other... we uncovered an apple. There we go. No! Okay, that was... Man, this game gets so tricky so quickly. Okay. So we go down, left, around. I'm gonna swing around this peg here. And that was me being careless with the sonar. Because I had him in an advantageous position, I just failed to. I only have a few frames left. There we go. Alright, let me just get up and stretch for a moment. Not for long, I don't need a full stretch break yet. That'll come in another 50 minutes or so. There we go. That was good. Alright. Okay. And, oh, we got it. We got it. No. Okay. There's no way. I'm not going for that. I'm not going for that. No, and of course I run straight into the black hole. No. I was just careless. Yeah, this is I find this game really... Like, I remember when a lot of people, me included actually, I was aware of a lot of early Nintendo history, a lot of early Famicom and NES history, including what are now known as the NES Black Box games, and I am stuck here. Good. And that's a game over. Fancy. Yeah, the NES Black Box games are something I was familiar with at the time, so I was kind of shocked when I just got to, let's see, where is... Yeah, I just got to go off camera very briefly. Yeah, I'm familiar with the NES Black Box games, but I didn't, I just never happened to hear of Ice Climber. It's not something any of my friends who had NES or my older brother who had NES, you know, before he came to live with me and my mom and dad, because he was living somewhere else at first when I was younger, and then when I was like 7-ish, or he came to live with us, and yeah, so he had NES, you know, with his family where he lived before. And I think that he never mentioned like Clu Clu Land or Ice Climber, and a lot of people only first heard of Ice Climber when Nana and Popo appeared in Smash Brothers, and that's how I first heard of them. And I remember when the NES Classic series came out on the Game Boy Advance, when they re-released like let's see, they Pac-Man for NES, Super Mario Brothers, and Zelda 2, a number of those. Bomberman was a part of that, so was Metroid. And they released those for Game Boy Advance for $20 a pop around in like mid to late 2004 and 2005. The ones I had were Pac-Man and Legend of Zelda. I got the most play out of Pac-Man though. But though the classic NES version of Legend of Zelda for NES is the furthest I've ever gotten in the first Zelda game, I think I got about halfway through the game. And then one of the games that came out of part of that series was Ice Climber, which kind of now had a lot of notoriety due to Nana and Popo's inclusion in Super Smash Bros. Melee. There we go. So a lot of people a little older, even a couple years older than me, and from my age down, were getting Ice Climbers, not realizing that it was kind of a score attack arcade game. It's like, oh yeah, this is the thing they're gonna play is a cool like Super Mario Brothers-esque platform game with Nana and Popo from Smash Bros. Melee, and they ended up just playing the single screen high score game with very bad jumping controls. And, like, they just basically immediately went straight back to GameStop. I remember, like, the week after Classic NES series came out on Game Boy Advance, every GameStop I went to was just flooded with copies of Ice Climbers. And on one hand, you're like, these, you know, you could be, like, oh, cynical, like, oh, these dumb kids don't appreciate a good game. But It's not. It wasn't just. I mean, it was people my age and younger who were well into our teens at that point, and well into our late teens at that point. So it was. It wasn't just the really little kids who played Smash Brothers Melee and it was their first exposure to Ice Climbers. And because by that point I already played Ice Climber on NES, was familiar with, like, it's just a single screen. Well, not a single screen, but it was a high score game with platforming elements. It wasn't something like Super Mario Brothers or Kirby's Adventure, where there's like a point A to point B adventure with scrolling stages and everything like that. And if they had included Clu Clu Land in that series, if they had somehow made Bubbles work as a fighter in Smash Brothers Melee, and by the way, instead of all these fire, I know it's kind of a meme, like, oh, like Smash Brothers for Ultimate is just Smash Brothers Ultimate is just a bunch of anime sword boys that are from Fire Emblem. But one of the characters I did wish we got in instead of one of those guys would have been Bubbles from Clu Clu Land. Would have been a fun way if they could figure out how to make her work as a fighter. I wanted something. I wanted more wild stuff like Piranha Plant. Like, I never played Smash Brothers Ultimate, but Piranha Plant was and is one of the reasons I was actually genuinely interested in that game. Like, if I played that game, I'd want to play as Piranha Plant. It's a character I appreciated, and I thought it was really a cool inclusion. I like the wacky characters where it takes a lot of creativity and how to make them work that still represent something unique within Nintendo's history, and, you know, a dozen plus anime sword boys, most of whom are from Fire Emblem, really was not getting my blood pumping. And it's funny because I remember seeing so many people that were genuinely felt personally insulted by the inclusion of Piranha Plant in that game, and I was like, "Are you kidding me, bro? This is the, you know, the thing is, those sort of people, you know, the meme from Smash Brothers Melee, you know, Fox only, Fox only, no items, Final Destination, is kind of what I felt was. I'm the opposite. I'm like, you know, any random stages. Yeah, random stages with any character I want. Use someone like Luigi or Pac-Man or Piranha Plant. Any old stage with items on. Because for me, like, the item system in Smash Brothers is what made that game fun to me. I would not have got into Smash Brothers Melee like I did if it wasn't for the inclusion of items. Meanwhile, for all the, like, even my friends who like played Smash, like I was with personally, like, my best times playing Smash were with my brother, who is another casual player like me, and we play like any old stage we want with the items on. I love throwing Pokeballs, I love the hammer, I love all the wacky stuff that would happen with items on. And then by the time I'm in college and I'm playing with my friends, they're all like super serious, you know, Fox McCloud only, Final Destination, no items kind of players, where it's like, okay, it's not that serious to me, and that's kind of when I fell off of Smash in general. I did get Smash Brothers for 3DS because I was still in college at that time, even though if it was down to a traditional 4-year college bachelor's degree college career for me, I would have been overaged for college, but I was still on campus a lot and taking classes at that point. And in the course of that, I was like, hey, I still have friends on campus, whatever, let me go get my 3DS copy of Smash Brothers. So if I run into some friends at the cafeteria, I could join in on them, because I had a bunch. Of course, I kept nerdy friends in college. And the college I went to was kind of a infamous college for attracting a lot of, let's say, interesting characters. And of course, I was one of them. But yeah, so I had a lot of nerdy, dorky friends who would play, who were super hardcore into Smash. I'm like, oh, I'll get Smash Brothers and play with them. No, like, even on 3DS, they were like super hardcore into Smash, no matter what they did or how they played it. Now, I cannot. Please. What is last 11? Is that how many lives I have? Oh gosh. I don't even know what I'm trying to complete exactly. Okay. Alright. Up, up, okay. Spinning, spinning, up. And up. Alright, so... Alright, how about... Actually, what I'm gonna do... Let's play another 10 minutes, and then I'll be playing this for an hour. Because sometimes I go overboard with thinking how long a game is worth playing, I guess. Because we'll play for another... Wait, actually, no. No, we'll play for another 10 minutes. And then we'll move on to Clu Clu Land Versus, and I'm actually going to make this a bit of an unscripted variety stream. I would, we have some other black box games we could whip out. Okay. Now, we crush those two. Yeah, I should have... I don't know why I thought I could sit here and play this for 2 hours, then play Clu Clu Land Versus for 2 hours. And the thing is, like, this is a fun game. Like, a game I could really zone out on would be, like, NES Pinball. And I don't think I have the... I do have a... do I have a generic NES Pinball layout where I don't have to update the, my hold screen? I'm not sure. But, what I will do is... flip those three over, and flip that one over. I'm running low on time, so I'm not going to go after the sea urchin at this point. I just have to finish the man's right hand here, and go. There we go. Time. Yeah. Why do I keep having problems? I just want to set... There we go. So in 10 minutes, we'll finish this up. Actually, no, 7. 7. Yeah, there we go. So at 5 Eastern Standard Time, we'll finish that up and move on to Versus Clu Clu Land. We'll play that for an hour and then do our midstream break. Crush him and roll over. Yeah, you know, now that I'm thinking of it, I think they're... Yeah, I think I know how I want to do... I'm going to restructure my next stream a bit away from what I originally planned. And work a little more variety into it. Because there's some people who could sit here and do this play each of these games for 2 hours apiece. Not quite for me. Now... NES Pinball, that I could play for, you know, forever. Forever and ever. But not quite this. Now, they only recently added Clu Clu Land to the Virtual Console, or the Arcade... not Arcade Archives, that's... I'm just naming service after service, because there are all these different means of playing old Nintendo games on Nintendo Switch, and it's kind of ridiculous. I miss when it was all just Virtual Console, you bought the game, you owned it, that was that. There was some nonsense recently where the Nintendo eShop went down for like 4 or 5 hours. And during those 4 or 5 hours, not only could you not shop for games on the Nintendo eShop, not only could you not play multiplayer online games for the Nintendo Switch Online, but you could not play any downloadable game purchased from the eShop on your Switch during those 2 hours. Like, that's how the DRM works, which I was not aware of. That's absolutely outrageous. Like, if I let's say I downloaded Arcade Archives, like when I played Versus Pinball, I downloaded that game, I purchased it, it is on my Nintendo Switch, and when Nintendo Switch Online and the eShop were down, I could not play the game single player on my own Nintendo Switch. And that really just discourages me from downloading more digital games. I mean, it's already an iffy thing about digital games where, you know, oh, what if the eShop goes down and my console is damaged, I can't re-download the games that I purchased anymore if the shop is no longer officially supported. Now, like, when the eShop goes down, you can't even play your pre-purchased, fully downloaded games that are sitting on your console's memory, and that is because of the way the DRM works, and that's absolutely outrageous. But that's the age we live in, and Nintendo really hates when people pirate their games. But when stuff like that happens, it really makes piracy seem like a reasonable solution to a lot of people. And it's unfortunate for the consumers who would actually like to support Nintendo and not have to worry about the safety and security of the investments they made in their cartridges. I mean, we've come a long way from Nintendo having to justify... I mean, they had backlash from parents back when the Super Nintendo would not play original NES games, and that's something the Master System was never popular in North America anyway. But when they came out with the Genesis or Mega Drive, the new console was able to play those older games, those games that I'm just checking on my what they call it, you know, my frames, which I have to go in my browser to check my frames. I found that my actual broadcast software, which is Streamlabs OBS, now known as Streamlabs Desktop, but I call it Streamlabs OBS or Slobs out of habit, unfortunately does not really doesn't give me an accurate sense of how I'm doing in terms of my dropped frames. So I switched to my browser real quick and used the Twitch web-based stream manager to check on if I'm dropping frames. There we go. Okay. And how about we zap... Oh no, they were bunched up. I was like, yeah, we could zap both of the sea urchins at once, but it is not worth the... No, that was genuinely my thumb slipping. I'm not saying that, oh, that doesn't count, my thumb slipped. I mean, the thumb slipped. My thumb slipped, and it's my fault for my thumb slipping. But it slipped nonetheless. Okay. How far can we get in 2 minutes and 17 seconds? That I think was turning into a Celtic knot. That shape, that formation there. Okay, so we're back at stage 1. And alright. And what? Nope. Uh-oh. Kalaka Boy has redeemed the Sodor lore reading. And if you're not familiar with the Sodor lore reading, we're going to... Did I... Oh, I forgot to open my document for it. I got caught unprepared. Let's see. Here we go. The document where I keep the Sodor lore reading while I bring up the... Alright, so we're going to get into a little lore from the world of Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends. Today we're going to be reading a little more of the history of the island of Sodor. And by the way, everything I'm about to read is canon, like official lore for the island of Sodor. This isn't something I made up. Sigrid fell at the Battle of Clontarf in Ireland in 1014. His heir, Thorfinn, was an infant at the time, and so Harold took his chance and claimed Sodor and land. Sodor and man, not Sodor and land, ruling for 20 years before Thorfinn drove him out. Harold's son was killed in battle, but Harold escaped to Iceland, where he married again in 1044. A son, Godred Crovan, was born in 1045. Harold died in an aerie in 1047. Ogmund, born in Iceland in 1045, was the son of Sigrid of Kronk and his wife, Helga. They returned from Iceland with young Godred Crovan and his mother, Greta. The two boys were brought up together and later as stepsons, and after Helga's death, Sigrid married Greta. Sigrid was the leading man in Sodor when he died in 1063, and Ogmund succeeded him. By the time Thorfinn's grip on power was loosening, Godred had set out about regaining his father's former kingdom, leaving Ogmund in Sodor. Ogmund, meanwhile, welcomed Thorkel of Norwich to Sodor and settled his men around the island, squeezing the last of Fingal's troops from the island. With Sodor secure, Godred completed his goal of conquering the Isles, Dublin, and finally Man at the Battle of Sky Hill in 1079. Ogmund fell at the battle. So, thank you, Clackaboy, for paying your premium tokens, hard-earned premium tokens, to allow us to learn a bit more of the rich and deep history of the island of Sodor. So, I'm just going to check on... Yeah, we're good. And we're going to jump back into... Yeah. Oh, we were out of time. So, we only just started this game. So, how about we switch over? We start the timer for another 60 minutes. We're gonna do a few things. We're gonna start the timer for 60 minutes. Get up for a 30-second stretch. I could have put on my break screen, but it's a little too late now. Because it's already time for the break to be over. Okay, here I am. And would have made the process a bit more lively. Alright, so back to... Now we're going to play Clu Clu Land Versus now. Now, Clu Clu Land we were playing on the Nintendo Switch Online's NES app. But Clu Clu Land Versus, which is the Japan-only arcade conversion for the Nintendo Versus System arcade cabinets, that we'll be playing using the Arcade Archive service. And Arcade Archives is a lot louder than Nintendo Switch Online's NES app, so I have to look at my notes. I have to turn the volume down to -15, so, okay. There we go. -15. There we go. And it just started raining, and the rain's kind of pitter-pattering against my window of my apartment. So, we got Clu Clu Land Versus. We got our volume adjusted properly. So, let's open up. Alright, so we've got Clu Clu Land, the coin-op version. So there's a button to insert the coin and stuff like that. This will operate exactly like the actual arcade cabinet. So I know what I want to do. How about... yeah. An hour and 5 minutes. Hold on. There we go. So we just got to start the game. So there we go. I pre-balanced the sound. I did some testing. Okay, A and B is to find stone wave. L is to add credits, and R is to start. L is to add credits. R is to start. Okay. So here's the arcade version of Clu Clu Land. So insert coin. And start. Oh wow, the music's different. And this is my first. Oh wow, there's no black hole. There's no black hole in this version. Okay, at least not in stage 1. And there are no sea urchins either. It seems wow. Usually the arcade versions of games are much harder. This one is actually being a little gentle to us and gradually introducing us to the game. That's one problem with Sky Skipper for the old Nintendo arcade game Sky Skipper, which came out 3 years before this. Oh, it's a telephone! We've got new patterns in this version of the game. I think that's an old-fashioned telephone, I think is what it's forming. Hey, how about that? Oh wow, look at those flashing colors in the arrows. Yeah, the dorkiest little differences are highly amusing to me, excuse me. Wow, pressing the fire buttons. Oh wow, there's different music. Wow, Bubbles moves a lot faster already. I hope the original music is in here too, because I like these new tracks, but something about the original track is so charming. Alright. How good can I get at the arcade version of this? Wow, the music keeps on going. Okay, this is the eagle. I recognize this pattern. Something about... Oh my goodness, that was so fast I couldn't even fire this one. Yeah, the red on the bubble sprite is a lot brighter in this version. And I do believe the Nintendo Versus system was was like 1% more powerful. And that's a totally arbitrary number, of course, but like I believe the Nintendo Versus system was slightly more capable than the stock Famicom or NES. So we just push that one and go over and got. No. There we go. Completed the eagle. Man, this version. For starting you off with, like, a freebie stage with no enemies and no, yeah, with no enemies and no obstacles and no black holes, which I guess a black hole does count as an obstacle. They are very... Oh, wow! We got a bonus stage already. Yeah, so... Okay, so we're gonna clear all these. Oh man, that's a, I don't know, like trying to fill, I don't know, I feel like the bonus stage might be a bit more fun than the actual main game. I don't know about that. Just trying to use these controls to fill out the coins or the gold bars in such a short period of time. I think, like, the difficulty curve in the first one was better, but the Cuckoo Land on the home version of Cuckoo Land should have included the freebie stage, but then continued on to, I don't know, like, this one has the sort of freebie stage that lets you get comfortable with the controls, and then it throws you in this really fierce difficulty so quickly. Like, I would love this... If I could have a Nintendo Versus System cabinet, the two games I would want in it would be Cuckoo Land and... Yeah, it would be... I would want Cuckoo Land and Versus Pinball. Oh, it's a UFO! It's those Japanese... Those very specifically Japanese flying saucers with the 3 little balls on the bottom. Now, I didn't bother hooking onto the pole because I knew the second I revealed that pole, it would end the stage. Alright. Oh, wow. It's added elements to the stage start music? Okay. So stage 5, this is the furthest I've ever gotten in the arcade version of this game. Well, this is the first... What you're seeing right here is my first session with the arcade version. I let the first stage run a bit, just to get a sense of how loud the music was, but I wasn't even listening to music. I wasn't paying attention enough to even know. Because what I was doing was, I wasn't listening to the music so much as I was just watching it in the equalizer in my broadcast software to make sure that my voice was balanced correctly. How did you see that? That was crazy, because I stunned? It counted me stunning the sea urchin. Wow. New music. Hey, we've got a... Oh, look at this! I can actually move the cursor around and enter my name, my initials in a sensible manner. S. Only 3 letters, so... No. S. No. What am I supposed to do? I can't... Okay, fine. Oh, wait! I put an SDS. I wanted to put an SDH. Okay. Wow, I have 23 credits. Okay, I guess I have enough to keep playing. Yep, so here's our introductory freebie stage. Yeah, this game is charming, but, like, I wish it had these enhancements, but with, like this initial introductory stage, with these extra music and stuff, but add also into rotation the music from this version of a track of the original version, the original main theme of this game from the NES version, and then the difficulty curve for the NES version. I think this would have made a good arcade port. I like all the enhancements except for it gets... I mean, the original Cuckoo Land on NES or Famicom I thought was getting too difficult too quickly. There we go. Now, when this came out on Game Boy, this came out as part of the NES Classic series, or I guess the Famicom Mini series as it was known in Japan. And that game, I felt... I mean, I wanted that to come out in North America. They did not release Cuckoo Land for a North American release, which is probably a good idea, unfortunately, given the cold reception that Ice Climbers got, and this game has even less of a recognizability factor than Ice Climbers did. There we go. We got crush and run across. Oh, no. There we go. That's what I wanted to happen. And get revenge for that one. Yeah, I stunned them. But I turned them, somehow I hit, like, the hitbox for them being stunned, and the hitbox for them dealing damage to me must be very, well, I say hitbox, like, I guess there's, like, a sort of a stack kind of thing, if you know the idea of the stack and Magic Gather, just sort of the order of operations of how this game calculates things. I guess it'll count me taking damage before it'll count me stunning the enemy, so that all happened. So I stunned the enemy and died at the same moment. Because I'm not supposed to it's not supposed to register damage while stunned. That's probably like a 1 in 1,000 kind of moment right there. That doesn't have to deal with so often. Alright, so how about... I'm sorry, like, I don't know why I expected to be able to play this infinitely. I'm gonna maybe reduce this... We'll play for another half hour. And, oh, we missed bonus round fun. Oh no, that's not what I intended to do. There we go. Oh man, that is such a fun part of the game. Yeah, I wish I could make a save. You cannot do save states in this version of the game. I wish I could. Because I'd make a save state right there and just play that a bunch of times. The bonus stage. Why is my timer frozen? Why is my timer frozen? It's not frozen. It's only the feed for the timer's frozen. How about... There we go. That's more like it. Yeah, I don't know why the timer in my broadcast software, like, the feed you're seeing is frozen, but the timer on my PC... The timer you see is not a built-in timer. It's just a generic timer program I downloaded off the web that I use for my streams as part of my layout. For some reason, the window capture kind of froze. Yeah, so I think this is some kind of skull. I think this is supposed to be a monster skull. And the black holes are meant to remind you of the player of eyes. And clear. Wait, what are the display options are there? Display frame on. Display position. Wallpaper on. Let's turn the wallpaper off. Screen filter A1, A2. The game's... The original game's character designs, when characters overlap, they will appear the same as they did in the original game. Let's turn that on. Huh. Scan lines to it. Okay. I don't know. Something... Yeah, I'll leave the scan lines on. It gives a little character. But, like, even playing... I only played Clu Clu Land. I mean, when I first played Clu Clu Land, it was on an actual CRT tube set. I played NES on a CRT tube set. It did not look like this. Like, the fake CRT filters are so overdramatic. And, yes, deteriorated VHS tapes would look like that, but the sort of VHS aesthetic, especially with, like, VHS horror type stuff, it did not look like... If VHS tapes looked like that back in the day, no one would have watched VHS. That's the look of a very deteriorated, usually a home-recorded, highly deteriorated VHS tape. That is not the look... Oh, I see. Filter, I'm looking at the preview of my broadcast software, and it's not quite as effective as, or dramatic as it appears to me looking at my monitor in front of me. Now, it seems like the urchins have a harder time passing through. It seems like they're less likely to pass through gold bars, but they're able to do so. There we go. Since I started the game, I did not check to make sure I was okay on frames. Okay, we're good. We're good. I'm paranoid. Alright. Oh, no. Well, since I'm in here, I didn't mean to do this, but since I am in here, how about, button settings, game settings, display settings. I'm going to turn that screen filter A2. Original game's character designs, display size, display frame. I can't tell what's different about that, but... Oh wow, it's actually simulating the sort of stutter. Now it's simulating the actual stutter of the arcade cabinet. That's so... Like, well, the stutter of the CRT, which is something that you'd get if you had, like, an older CRT. Like, my television, I never had a television that quite had this effect yet. Okay. Actually, this is the furthest I think I've ever gotten in the game, actually, so that's neat. Man, this time limit is ferocious. I can't quite tell what's, oh, okay. What am I even... I can't tell what I'm supposed to be building. There's just a series of random spots. Or seemingly random. Okay, game over. That little chime always gets me because I'm so used to... Okay. Gonna go S... T... H. Wait, I don't get what's S... T... H... I don't know how I'm supposed to be entering my name here. I don't get it. I don't get it. Okay. Like, what? I don't know what it is about arcade. Like, no matter what, I feel like in every arcade game I've ever played, both back in arcades when I was a kid and playing these, these emulations of arcade games, something about the interface for inputting letters, no matter what manner of interface it is, whether you're scrolling through the letters, or whether it's like this where you're going through an on-screen keyboard, it always managed to make it really difficult for me to figure out how I'm supposed to put in my names and confirm each letter and without accidentally deleting it or accidentally putting in a letter I don't want or something silly every single time. This is a pattern we never got before. This is, I think, going to be a tree, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, it's a jellyfish. It's a jellyfish with a little cartoony eyes in the middle. Okay. Got the money. Grab the apple. Oh, you got a bumper. I don't quite recognize what the bumper is. Is this going to be the eagle? I think this is the eagle. Yes, this is definitely... No, this is the plus... This is like the clown face thing with the plus eyes. At least that's what I think it's supposed to be. It's not. I always thought those were like... I was never afraid of clowns, but I always... Wait, what is this shape? This is something new. This might be something new. We haven't seen before. Oh, it's a key! It's a skeleton key. Oh my goodness. I was firing away, and it just didn't register that. At least I think it's a skeleton key. Yep, it's an old-fashioned, old-timey key. I need to look up why skeleton keys are even called that. Get punched in my browser now so that after the stream I can look up the history of skeleton keys, and it's probably a huge research rabbit hole I don't need to fall into. Oh! Bonus stage time. Okay. Man, it's so tricky. There we go. I got in the rhythm. I got in the rhythm. Okay. Yeah, I actually started getting into the rhythm there, and boing, 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 and clearing up. Yeah, it's the best. You know, it's funny. Like, that mini game, I would say, is, like, more fun than the core game itself. Like, that should have been trying to clear as many of those in a narrow time limit. That should have been the whole game. Well, not necessarily, but it's just like there's something fun about that. That's like kind of, it's like the story of the inventor of the BB gun. And of course, like, you know, people have been killed with BB guns. I know of someone who got shot with a BB gun when they were a little kid, and it's in their brain in an inoperable place, and it's in a place that, it causes them, it didn't cause brain damage, but it causes them permanent pain, and they cannot take the BB out, so it's just rusting away in their brain, like, for the rest of their life, you know, and they're using, like, medical marijuana and other forms of relief, but it's just constant pain that will never end, and they just have to live with that. So even before I heard that story, which I didn't hear until I was an adult, BB guns always scared the crap out of me. Like, how the heck could you let a kid have this as a toy? But anyway, the first BB gun, if I remember the story, and this is a story I heard in the 90s on Discovery Channel, so there might be different versions or different takes on the story of the BB gun. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to drop some body horror into my spinning pufferfish video game stream. But the person who invented the BB gun, I think they were like a toy maker. Or there's something to that effect. They were a toy maker, and they were selling toy windmills. And they invented the BB gun as a promotional item to promote the sale of toy windmills. Like, yes, if you buy this toy windmill, you get a BB gun for free, this new invention I made. And people were buying, and the BB guns ended up being more popular than the toy windmill. So it was like, well, maybe I should stop making the toy windmills and just sell the BB guns. That's at least one story I've heard. I don't know how factual that is of the history of the BB gun. Now, fortunately, by the time I was growing up, we had Super Soakers and Nerf dart launchers, and those launchers that launch those foam balls. So that was a lot. If you wanted to mess around launching harmless projectiles at your friends, that was a much better. Yeah, and the thing is, like, they're too dangerous for kids, and they're, you know, if you're out hunting or for home defense or whatever, they're useless for that. So, like, why bother? It's basically because they didn't have the technology for Nerf guns and Super Soakers yet. But fortunately, you know, kids' toys nowadays are much safer. So, yeah, that's as far as I'll go with that subject. But the point I was getting at with the story of, you know, the BB guns and the toy windmills, the point is, it was kind of a thing where the BB gun was an afterthought to sell these toy windmills, and the toy windmills weren't actually what the kids wanted. And that's how I kind of feel with the bonus game for this arcade version of Koopa. The bonus game, the mechanics and the method of action and the timing mechanics, the limited time, something about that just clicks more with the bonus game than it does for the main game, which is kind of a shame because this main game here, the concept behind it, is very charming in my opinion. I'm gonna do as best as I can, as much as I like, and it's funny, whenever I play this game, I play it for like 15 minutes and then move on to Excitebike, or yeah, I'd move on to Excitebike or or Pinball or something like that. I wouldn't sit down and try to play it for hours at a time, and trying to play it for hours at a time, except for Versus Pinball. Versus Pinball is the only one of these black box arcade score attack early era Famicom NES games that I would play for a long period of time. So actually sitting down and playing this for a while, it's like, yeah, this is kind of tiring to an extent. Now, something about Versus Pinball, NES Pinball, I can play for hours on end, but this isn't quite it. Okay, so we're going to try to get both of these sea urchins. Yeah, got it. Now, what is this? Is this a... I can't tell what this is going to be. Is this some kind of face or a head? Whenever you see the two eyes in the center of the board, You know, I think this is supposed to be like a mosquito head or like some kind of insectoid head. I think is what this pattern's supposed to be. Yep, we just gotta get the middle part there. We'll do the antenna up here. And the head. There we go. Yeah, I think this is supposed to be like a fly or a mosquito head. There we go. Yeah, normally I don't like these sort of CRT wannabe filter things, but here I actually kind of like it. I don't know why. Something about the way it's pulled off here I appreciate more so than with other... Yeah, this is fun. I like this, actually. Bam. Yeah, that's really satisfying and fun when I get into the rhythm. And, now, I don't know if this might be a bit more challenging for me than it might be for other players, but okay. I think I got up to land to 10 before. Let's see how far I can get. Yes, we got him. And bam. Yes, and it is the same thing as with, when I play Panel Upon, I have to say bam, bam, bam when I get the combos and the chains. If you don't announce it out loud, it does not count. How far can we get in this last 10 minutes before the midstream break? And actually, what I'm gonna do when I get to... Okay. Doggone. But hey, at least we're guaranteed at least one more bonus round, because that's, I think, stage 3 is the bonus round in this game. Alright. Very well, then. Man, 67. How many coins can I add before it stops? Oh, it only lets me add up to 90 credits. Okay. I guess they hate money then. Man, imagine if they made like a scrolling game. Imagine if instead of these single screen boards, imagine if they had a scrolling board and added some platforming elements to it. They'd probably give it a stupid name like Donkey Kong King of Swing for Game Boy Advance, in which Bubbles happens to be an unlockable playable character. A game which I never actually played. Yeah, Donkey Kong King of Swing is effectively this turned into a platformer. And I started saying that before I actually stopped to think, oh yeah, this game already exists just starring Donkey Kong characters. I don't know if they have the whole, like, left and right hand swinging thing. I mean, in terms of the controls. Because here, like, I have to press down. I have to press a different button on the D-pad to make the correct flipper come out. To grab onto the pole that I want to use. Hey! I guess this is supposed to be a little tiny Empire State Building, because I've never seen that pattern before. Alright. this stage, you have to play the bonus round again. And assuming this stage is symmetrical, there will be a bumper right here. Bam! Okay, it is symmetrical. We've got it. We're starting. Oh no, I hit a sea urchin. I got distracted by the bag of money. I think this is the eagle. This is the eagle. I actually let the bonus item distract me, and I lost a credit because I was going up, looking at the bag of money instead of paying attention to which way my character moved. No, she fell between the pegs. There we go. Got him. Let's finish the head up here. And now the right wing. And the left wing. Oh, and I run into the sea urchin. Why do I say sea? Why do they call them sea urchins? They're just urchins. There's no other animal I know of that's called an urchin that's a land-based thing. Like sea anemones, I always used to wonder, like, why are they called sea anemones? Because they're just... Because somehow, like, sea anemones, I think, are better known than regular anemones, the land anemones, which are a flower. So yeah, sea anemones as opposed to land anemones, which are the flower. Hey, bonus game time. Okay, right. That was fun. That was fun. Okay. Something. They never ported. Well, fortunately, I have it on my Wii U. They never ported NES Remix from Wii U. They ported it to 3DS. They never ported it to Nintendo Switch. I played Ultimate NES Remix on the 3DS. That was fun. I never really got. I didn't complete it or anything. I didn't get that far in it, but what I played was a lot of fun. What I did play was that sort of recreation of the Nintendo World Championships cartridge that Nintendo had to kind of improvise with because of the fact that they didn't have rights to Tetris or Rad Racer, which were the two games beside from Super Mario Brothers that were part of Nintendo World Championships. It's very hard to hear me. Hold on a second. I'm going to mute my mic and I'm going to listen to my own self on the... Alright, I'm just doing some testing so I can hear my own voice come out and do some... Alright, Serial Wars. I did a lot of testing before with my comparing my audio level to the game audio. Oh, excuse me. Hold on, I have to... And to me, the balance sounded good. And I've been streaming for... I'm not calling you out, by the way. I'm just saying, like, I've been on for about an hour and 50 minutes at this point. And you're the first to mention anything. But I'll turn down the game audio a little bit. And that's... I want to, once again, remind everybody, if anything like that's wrong, where you can't hear me good, or you can't hear the game good... just go ahead and let me know, and then I could turn down the game a tiny bit. There we go. Turn the game down a few clicks. Yeah, we're in 5 minutes. I was originally gonna play 2 hours of Clu Clu Land, and now I'm playing Clu Clu Land Versus. or Versus Clu Clu Land, the arcade version that only released in Japan. But when I normally play this game casually, I only play it for like 15, 20 minutes tops at a time. And then I move on to NES Pinball or Excite Bike or one of those other simple arcadey black box games. Actually sitting down and playing it for so long made me realize that I didn't like I can't. This is a game I could sit down and play for a total of 4 hours between the NES version I played earlier and this arcade edition, which is the first time I'm playing it. And this is also the first time I've actually liked the simulated scanline effect in a video game emulator. Normally I don't like it, but something about this one actually does kind of appeal to me. Is the audio balance better now, Serial Wars? Thanks for dropping in, by the way. I'm gonna have to adjust the volume again, because what I'm gonna do, when the timer runs out, what I'm probably gonna do, I'm gonna play through the rest of whatever match I'm in. I'm gonna play through, if I run through the last 3 minutes, I'm gonna play through until I get a game over. And then I'm gonna pull up Versus Pinball. Okay, if it's good enough, let me know. If I need to tweak it a bit more, let me know. Because what I do, my strategy has always been to leave my microphone audio alone and adjust the game audio up or down. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I guess I just did not... Yeah, so Serial Wars, are you familiar... Oh my... I'm just getting destroyed here. Are you familiar with Clu Clu Land and its mechanics? It's kind of a territory control maze game in the spirit of Pac-Man, where I'm uncovering these gold bars, which are in fact the same sprite they later reused for the rupees in The Legend of Zelda. This was developed by Nintendo R&D 2 in 1984 for the original game, and then they did this arcade version in 95. Yes, this is Nintendo's spinning pufferfish arcade game that they never released, well, and they technically never released any sequels for. Now, originally for Famicom, they then released an NES version that launched with the Nintendo Entertainment System in North America. They then did this enhanced version for the Famicom, well, for Nintendo Versus System in the arcades. This is a game I've wanted to play since before I started streaming. And I know there are a lot of games I'd want to hit eventually. This is one of those games I wanted to heavily feature this time, and then in future streams, especially if I'm streaming multiple games for Nintendo Switch, I can play this as like a 15, 20-minute warm-up game, where I think this type of game will really shine. Now, in this bonus mode, how I move, I'm not moving directly like in Pac-Man. How Bubbles the pufferfish moves is that I control Bubbles' left and right flipper. And by holding out the left and right flipper, she will swing on the nearest pole that she passes. Clu Clu Land is sort of a romanization of Kuru Kuru, which is sort of the Japanese onomatopoeia for twisting or turning. The Game Boy Advance game Kuru Kuru Kururin is also a play on that Japanese onomatopoeia. So Clu Clu Land, if they wanted to they actually just took the Clu Clu Land, as it was called in Japan, and just brought it straight over to Western audiences under that name. If they wanted to localize it a bit more directly, they probably would have called it something like Twisty Turny Land. They just went ahead and just called it Clu Clu Land with no context as to what that's referring to. That makes it sound like it's a game about, like solving mysteries or something like that, but it's actually just a game about, and the ingots that you unveil in the, on the playfield, along with these bumpers, and as well as the black holes in the center of the playfield, will form. Now, I am out of time. Now, Bubbles never stops moving, but to sort of make it a little fairer, unlike Pac-Man, where the enemies are only vulnerable for certain periods, in this game, you can trigger your sonar at any time, but you have to have a clear line of sight for the sea urchin you're trying to stun before you crash into them. So we're going to play through this until we get a game over. We're going into Land 5 here. And then I'll take a moment of setup. Alright, so the clock lets me... this would be a much more straightforward game if it had a more direct control scheme. Now, you're going to grab that money. Now, the clock will freeze the enemies, but it will not stun them. So you have to stun them and then crash them into a wall. while they are stunned. So freezing the enemies does not seal that's me getting taken out by a pufferfish. The sea urchins seem to have they are able to pass through the gold ingots, but they are less likely to do so. So the gold ingots serve a bit of a role in restricting the movement of the sea urchins to a small extent. I think, oh my god, if this is what I think it is. I've not seen this pattern yet. No, okay, are we forming what I think we are forming? Is the game... No! I was so close. I'm very certain that the game was out to form a giant letter H. Oh yes, but if I could not purchase another video game again, between all the games I'm able to stream on my Analog Pocket and my Analog Mega SG, the games I have on my Wii, my games I have on my Wii U and my Switch, between all of that alone, and my mini consoles like my NES Classic Edition, Super NES Classic Edition, I would say that I would be able to stream for at least 2 or 3 more years without having to purchase a single extra game. But on this Saturday, this isn't the end of the stream, but I'm just gonna show off real quick. Oh, okay, I have to do it manually then. Yeah, so this Saturday, I will be at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to be streaming a rewind of past Nintendo E3 presentations, not E3 2021. I'll be doing a commentated viewing of Nintendo's E3 presentations from 2003 to 2008, which I look forward to tremendously. Now, what I'm going to have to do is, this isn't the end of the stream. No, not at all. We're pulling out, and I did not plan for this in particular. Do we have versus? Where is versus pinball? I have it down here somewhere. I just realized I don't have my new microphone set up on that layout, so you couldn't hear anything I was saying. Yeah, we're just going to go to... Where's Super Mario Party? I have that layout. It's not on my Stream Deck, because I wasn't planning to play it originally. Not Super Mario Party, I mean Mario Party Superstars. So we're going to pull that up. And we're going to set up a game. And once I have that game set up, I'm going to do my midstream break, and we'll play through a short round of Mario Party Superstars and call the stream at that point. Alright, is everyone able to... Yeah, well, actually, I'll go all the way to the start of the game. The start of the match. So we'll set up the whole board and everything. And, if the game is too... Well, there's not much music going on now. I'm looking on my equalizer here to see if... Okay, we'll skip that. Alright, it looks like based on what I'm viewing on the equalizer, it looks like my microphone audio and the game audio are pretty well balanced. I'll turn down the game audio just a tiny bit. Yeah, I'll turn down the game audio just a little bit there. And we'll jump into the mode. We'll set up the board game. And then I'll do my midstream break, and we'll come back. We'll play a round of Mario Party Superstars. Oh, I never actually pressed the Clu Clu Land button. I have made a button on my Stream Deck and a command just to bring up the history of Clu Clu Land. The whole time I was playing Clu Clu Land, I forgot to actually press the button. Yeah, there we go. Those are my computer players I always use. Set the difficulty. Set it out to normal. How about... I want to bring out... Let's do Peach's birthday cake. We'll set the turn for 10 minutes. Bonus stores on. Minigame help on. Handicap. Let's... Oh, no, actually, no. Let's play Danger. Oh, no, we can set the... Okay, never mind. I thought the handicap was in terms of coins, not stars. Because in the last other Mario Party games I played with, wait, we have... Let's go with all the mini games. And we'll start the match. We'll go all the way up to the beginning of the turns, and that's when I will start the break. You're gonna drive to the U.S.? Are you just gonna drive to the border and just like hop across the line and hop back over? Or you gonna go a little further south? As I used to say, like last time I moved, like, oh, I'm going to X state, and they're like, yeah, are you gonna actually have a city in mind, or are you gonna just top off the border and pitch a tent there? Okay, no. Okay, we're just gonna skip all this. Yeah, I don't know how close you are to the U.S. border, so I don't... Because there's some people who... I believe you're based in Canada. There's some people who, like, just a couple of hours to get food close to the border. You live close to the border? Alright. Alright, so it's not a great big trip. And it's funny, before it used to be... Like, when I was on Long Island, an hour trip was kind of a longer car trip. And now, like, oh, it's only 4 hours away. Now that I live more, like, deeper into sort of mainland U.S. Well, actually mainland U.S. because I literally lived on an island before. Now it's like, oh, yeah, it's only 4 hours away. It's only 5 hours away. It's not like, oh, you're only 10 minutes away from the border. And you could, you know... Well, I mean... okay, is my first time playing on this board? No, it is not. I've been playing on this board since 1998, mister. And I'm playing third? No, I'm playing fourth. I don't like playing fourth. I like playing second or third. Alright. Now, if my volume isn't balanced good, now's a good time to mention that. But I think it seems like it looks like it's balanced good in the equalizer. Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah, I think not living somewhere makes it... Like, there's a sort of grass is always greener effect. Like, there are things I like about other countries. I mean, I've never been to Canada, but I've been to the UK. Imagine, I'm not from the country... I've never been to the country that I'm that I'm only, like, you know, that I have a contiguous, like, the border with... Because I'm in the U.S. There's a land border with Canada. And I used to live even closer to it than I do now. And I've never been to Canada, but I've been to England, which is thousands of miles away. So go figure. There's always a grass is kind of greener effect. But it's like, of all the things I like in other countries that I've been to or know of, there are other things I don't like. And there are things, you know, maybe I would wish were a little improved. That maybe are a bit more like other countries here in the U.S., but... At least in the U.S., at least I'm used to the smell of the things that I don't like. But, we're going to jump to our rest break now. Alright. So, I will be back in 10 minutes. And let me change my category to Mario Party Superstars. Okay, Mario Party. And we're stream under. Mario Party Superstars. Yeah, gas prices are going real. I know someone who actually purchased an all-electric vehicle recently, and they're making out pretty good so far in terms of energy savings. But I'll be back in 10 minutes, and we'll play a little Mario Party before we close the night out. Hey everybody, sorry, I need a bonus minute really quick to dry off because I went out for a walk and got hit by some unexpected torrential rain. So excuse me for a moment. Alright, I am back. I'm gonna drop a little bonus credit to... Wait a second. Hold on. Something is missing. Where did I put it? I put down my glasses for the briefest moment to dry myself off. I put them down so sorry guys, I'm gonna have to add a couple minutes. I do not know where. I put down my glasses to dry myself off, and because I got hit by some torrential rain while I did my walk, and now I can't find my glasses. So excuse me, 2 more minutes. I'm back, and I was going to say I'm back and I've lost my glasses, but, okay. But, as I was sitting down, my glasses reappeared. I don't know how I've lost my glasses, and that's the most severely I've lost them since I got them, this pair a year ago. I used to wear another pair. Wait, what the heck? My console cam is on. I'm not playing with a console that I bothered putting the I want to... Where's the console? Alright. We've wasted enough time. I'm sorry, everybody. Alright. Mario Party Superstars. Yeah, I do not... Yeah, I do not need my glasses. I guess I might as well... Yeah, I'm still a little wet from... I'm gonna buy the Piranha Plant first turn. And of course they call it a strawberry, but... Yeah, you're interesting to think you'll... Oh, well, it's not... You know, it's funny. That's not my, like, official channel music. It's just a song that a track that I commissioned. Yeah, I've commissioned a number of pieces of music. I haven't shared most of them. But that's not my official stream music or anything, but it's something that I guess will become associated with it if I continue using that and don't mix it up with the various chiptune stuff that I throw on there. But, yeah, it's supposed to be, you know, late 80s, very early 90s, like, Deke cartoon type music, perhaps. It was kind of a lot of the, you know, something of oh, of course I'm gonna get chomped first turn, but it's a cute Piranha Plant, so we can get chomped by an adorable Piranha Plant, and it's okay. There's worse things that could happen. We do love our faceless, chompy, tooth, carnivorous beasts in this stream, or at least I do. I do have a few monster designs that have sort of chompy, eyeless, noseless mouth monster things on them, but nothing I've really featured in the stream. Doesn't really have a place in the stream like the Doorworms do, so. There used to be one of these places near my childhood, the home where I spent the great majority of my childhood, and actually the majority of my adulthood as well, but before I moved out, but yeah, there's a place like this where you buy a bunch of tokens and they'd, a, like, batting cage thing where this reminds me, Rusty's Real Deal Baseball is, you can still add points to your, I have a very delicate lead. Oh, yeah, that was a very... If I bombed it just once or twice, I would have definitely gotten taken out by that. Yeah, that music's actually for another project of mine that's not likely to go anywhere. It's something that's sort of recreational for now, but it's something that I've had in my head for a while. Here we go. This is a weird concept I've had. Okay. A nice straightforward board for a nice quick round of Mario Party. No, Serial Wars is saying it's interesting to think you'll be a Canadian viewer and an American viewer in the same stream. Yeah, that's true, because you're... Yeah, that's cool. Let's see, not much strategizing to do, we're just heading straight to the dice block. The very straightforward map. This is probably the most straightforward map in the entire, in the entirety of this particular game. Alright, this game is kind of bananas, and it's fun. So let's go for it. Yeah, I went looking for my glasses. I wasn't concerned about... Yeah, I wasn't concerned about needing... Damn it! Okay, sorry, I have fruit flies in here. And they're annoying. Yeah, I wasn't concerned about my, Yeah, I wasn't concerned so much about my, I don't need my glasses to see, but for me, it was just like, oh no, Peach, it's all up to you now. Yeah, for me, Like, these glasses are like the difference between going from 1080p to going to... It's the difference between 1080p and 4K, where it's like 1080p is perfectly fine, it's excellent vision and like excellent picture quality, but once you get used to 4K and you go back, it's just really annoying. So I can see perfectly fine, it can function fine, everything's good, and plus these lenses have the filter in them to soften light from viewing video screens, which is nice. A nice bonus. So, okay. Alright, we're good on frame rate. I'm just gonna do these last 10 turns and finish it up. No, I mean, only 9 turns now. Oh, we're already on turn 3. I didn't consider that. Yeah, we're already on turn... This is the 3rd turn out of 10, so we're already 30% through the game at this point. That's a great thing. When it's out of 10, it's very easy to... Well, it's funny. I'm not super... I use that analogy really loosely, that whole 1080p versus 4K thing, because I personally don't care. I only cared about playing, like, my 360 when I still had a tube set. I could barely see the text on, because the text was intended for high resolution for the most part, so... Or high definition, not high resolution. So it really wasn't... like... I didn't own an HD television until late 2017 when I moved out of my childhood home. I really did not care. And I just got it. I didn't get an HDTV to get an HDTV. I got an HDTV because when you buy a TV these days, that's just what you get. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I did not own an HD. I didn't seriously play. Yeah, I really didn't have an HD computer monitor until I got the monitors that I use in preparation for streaming. Oh yeah, okay, so I just wanted to... I'm used to this from Mario Party 2, the Mario Party 2 version of this game. You're watching on my CRT? That's really awesome. Yeah, I used to have the timing down, like, memorized with my, when I played this on Mario Party 2. Okay. And I like how they made it a bit more ambiguous as to which balloon is bigger. Visually, with N64, it's very obvious which one was ahead. Here, it's a little more ambiguous, like, oh, am I ahead? Am I ahead? Yeah, the timing is much more challenging with this version, which I like, because in the original version of Mario Party 2, it's like instant win. With this version, it's like, oh, am I gonna win? I don't know. Now, I really would love if they added Mario Party 2 to Nintendo Switch Online, because I haven't played Mario Party 2 in a long time. Not since October of 2021, and the lead up to Mario Party Superstars here. Yeah, I did not... Yeah, Mario Party 2 was... The last time I played on Wii U was back then. Yeah, I have an upcoming stream. Let's see, it's 1, 2, 3... 4 streams down the line. I was going to play just, Excitebike and Excitebike Versus. Instead, I'm going to play Excitebike for an hour, Excitebike Versus for an hour, and then we're going to switch it up to Ultimate NES Remix. Better not have a star in there. Okay, I don't know if these hitting blocks do have stars in this version. Alright. Alright, so he has the opportunity to buy a Piranha Plant. To plant a Piranha Plant there. But what really matters to me is that I have at least 20 coins. As long as I have at least 20 coins, I consider that... If I have fewer than 20 coins, I'm like, oh boy, I'm in bad shape, right? And we got 3. We're only a couple of points away from the star. Hey, it's a 4-player. It could have been another 1v3. Which would have been the second 1v3 of this session, actually. Snowball Summit. Is this... Okay, this is the... Okay, so you're trying to... Okay, I get the... I played this before, I didn't quite... Yeah, there we go. There we go. This is a little like... A little more... It's a little like Bumper Balls, I think. I know, I didn't realize that you could launch the snowballs. Haha! Let my enemies take each other out, and then I swoop in for the win. That was satisfying. Alright. Mario's number one just because he bought the first star, but...
Here we go.
Now, I have more than 50 points. I will go ahead and buy a big strawberry. Or the big piranha plant, rather. No, this is Mario Party Superstars, which was released on Nintendo Switch back in October. Yeah, the only Mario Party on Wii, the only Mario Party on Wii U natively was Mario Party 10 or 11, I think, before they stopped the numbering convention and went to Super Mario Party. Uh-oh, chance time. And, the Mario Party I play on Wii U is Mario Party 2 on the Virtual Console. That was an N64 game. Chance time. I miss the old sound clip. Chance time! Chance time! No. Oh my gosh, thank you, Mario. Lucky you, directed at myself. Alright. Oh, I bet he's off. Oh, he's gonna grab a star before me. But unlike this map, Mario never invited you to his party. Well, you never return his calls. You never like his posts on Facebook. Like, what do you expect, Serial Wars? Now, I remember, the whole idea of, like, Mario having an actual party. So then they played with a lot in the, commercials. I know, like, the first commercial, for Mario Party 1, they have, like, I think the cops show up to a house, and it looks like it's a photorealistic house, and they arrest Mario, but it's like a 2D, like, cartoon animated Mario. And he's like, but it's me, Mario! And the cop's like, yeah, tell it to the judge. Like, get in or get out. It was the tagline at that point. And then Mario Party 4, for GameCube, they played it, I think it came out in an election year. Or Mario Party 4 or 5, they came out in an election year, and they played into that. They were like, oh, Mario, like, what is your position on, on Bowser, or this or that? And it was like a press conference, and they, like, throws a Koopa shell at him or something, and it's like, this party is all fun and no politics. Join the party with Mario Party Advance. Like, just playing the play on words with the idea of a political party versus a Mario Party. And I do, and they've played with, done different play on words with the whole concept of Mario Party. Oh, you have the, so you have a theme on your computer to resemble the old, I think, what was that shell called? That skin for Windows XP, the Luna shell? Nowadays the Luna shell's probably nostalgic, but at the time everyone I know hated the Luna shell. Like, oh, it looks like the Fisher-Price, like Fisher-Price flavored Windows, switches to the old-fashioned style. But now going back to Windows XP would probably be really nostalgic, going back to the Windows XP look. When I first switched to Windows 10, I used old-fashioned style Windows skin. Yeah, everyone I knew hated the Windows XP look, like the candy-coated look. For me, it would be nostalgic. But I just switched to the old-fashioned skin just so I didn't have to hear it from my friends when they were over, when we were, downloading, like prank and stunt videos on Kazaa back in the day before YouTube existed. That's how you got your game trailers and your prank videos, and You know, kids set it, you know, teens setting off bottle rockets in their backyard and all that kind of stuff. But you had to go on Kazaa and download the videos for that back before you could go on YouTube. And actually, earlier during Clu Clu Land, I was talking about how yeah, because people thought of it got so associated with like pirating copyrighted content, but like that's the only way to, that's before YouTube. That's how you just watch innocent videos that weren't like, oh, I'm pirating movies and music. No, that's just how you did it. That's how you consume content online, multimedia content back then, before things like YouTube. And I remember I made a video review of Clu Clu Land for NES, and I filmed it. I made it with a VHS tape. I recorded footage of Clu Clu Land, and I kinescoped it in using my Kodak video camera. And Victory for Yoshi is in 4th place. And I edited it together very crudely, and I uploaded it to Kazaa, or I hosted it on Kazaa and spread it that way. I mean, that's how Angry Video Game Nerd got started. It was the first couple episodes being passed around on social media. So the fact that, you know, they had this reputation of like, oh, it's just for pirating, you know, Hollywood movies and for pirating music is really, you know, kind of wild. Like, to not use Kazaa was basically to not use the internet back then. And well, I know, like, that photograph of that I think it was like a vineyard in California somewhere. That was the default Windows XP wallpaper. I saw several times of the claim that is now the most widely viewed photograph in human history. That default Windows XP backdrop. I mean, and back then I cared a lot about my desktop wallpaper. I'd change it out every week or so. I'd change out my wallpaper and change out on my laptop and my Mac, my iBook, my G3 2001 model iBook. I'd switch out my wallpaper every week or so and go back to my favorites wallpapers. And nowadays it's like I just set one wallpaper and I basically never change it. I might change it once a year or something like that. Oh yeah, like I've seen pictures of it nowadays where they're like growing, like growing. I think it's like a vineyard now. Oh, look at me! I didn't even extend the spout on my bottle. I tried to get the water. Alright. Over to the item shop. Would you like to buy something? We updated our inventory. Let's buy some... Yeah, let's buy some triple dice. All 3 dice, then move the total amount. Okay, 10 coins. Big money, no whammy. Big money, no whammy. Come on, come on, come on. We'll choose the tallest seed. Because Luigi is the tallest character. At least the tallest human character. Come on. Oh no, we got bamboozled. Congratulations, you're a winner. Give King Bowser my best, will you? Yeah, and the original version of this map, you had to play that lottery game to choose whether you go to Bowser or if you go to the star. Here, you always go past the star, but you play the lottery to figure out if you're going to have to go directly back in to get rerouted to be towards. Oh my gosh. That was close. I think I'm gonna make it. I think I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it. I'm good. I'm good. I'm safe. we're 70% through the game already. Okay. Uh-oh.
Yes.
Mario time.
Alright. Let me just make sure I'm not dropping any frames at this point, because that would be rather embarrassing if I was dropping a bunch of frames the whole time and did not realize it. Which I have to switch over to, while Yoshi buys an item, I have to switch over to my web browser. Alright, we're good. We're good.
Luigi time.
Yes, we are. Most certainly using that item now. We need to get out of this Bowser side. It's literally a Bowser side dish. I just... Yeah, I was saying that to be cute, but I realized, yeah, it's actually... Oh, come on. Big roll. No! Okay, at least we got more than the typical normal amount. Oh, we got a totally useless item. We are below 20 coins, so we are now not in a good place right now. Lame. Come on, give me 20 coins, 20 coins. I need to win this next... If I win this next minigame, I'm getting the second impossible final... I need to win this next minigame. I need to. Oh, books... This is... Okay, this is this minigame. One of the more iconic minigames of the Mario Party series, in my opinion. This is from Mario Party 4. Yeah, the boards in this are only from the Nintendo 64 era, but the minigames are from N64 and GameCube eras, and I think even some from the Wii era. Now, the reason... I think Mario Parties 1, 2, and 3, the boards all have a similar rules and logic, so they already had to make a lot of concessions to get the different boards to sort of work with a unified set of rules, because there's certain elements to some boards that are really made very specifically with certain Mario Party elements in mind. At this point, it stops being as easy to predict. Oh gosh. Yeah, this is definitely one of the more iconic Mario Party games of all time. And I like how it even plays the same... Yeah, I was wondering, especially how they adapt the Mario Party 1 and 2 boards, this being a Mario Party 1 board, because Mario Party 1 had a very high emphasis on coin loss, which is why in Mario Party 1, whenever you cross the starting point, like right here, Peach is crossing the starting point, so you get 10 coins added. Because Mario Party 1, if like in traditional Mario Party, if you win a minigame, you get 10 coins. And then if you earned additional coins within the minigame itself, you get those too. And Mario Party 1, and if you lost a minigame, you just lost coins. And then there were many minigames where you could steal coins from each other. And there was also an emphasis on the theft and loss of stars. Which in Mario Party 2, the only way you could have a star confiscated from you within the game was if... And yeah, Mario Party 1 was great, except for the joystick minigames. Not because it jacked up my palms, but because even if you play it legit, it just had a tendency to wear out the controller itself. Now, very shockingly to me, all the Mario Party 1 minigames, like Mario Party 1 was never offered on any virtual console service to avoid players using those joysticks, because eventually those joystick rotation minigames caused Nintendo to have to issue leather gloves for players to use while playing the game. Aha, Yoshi. And so because of that, they never put Mario Party 1 on the Wii Wii U Virtual Consoles or on Nintendo Switch Online. So I was shocked when they adapted those Mario Party 1 mini games with the stick rotation into this game, and actually still included the stick rotation. Now, there is a huge disclaimer on the information screen for those games. It says, "Warning: do not use your palm to do not use the surface of your palm to rotate the control stick." But even so, I'm surprised they brought those, because they could have adapted. This isn't something that you could really do as easily in a virtual console release, but they could have adapted. Like, there are some mini games from Mario Party 1 that reappeared in Mario Party 2, but were adapted to use rapid rotation, alternating A and B button presses, or using rapid rotation of the A button. Now, I just lost all the coins. I have no coins now, so I guess Yoshi is even with me from the coins I got during the earlier chance time. That is such butt. Now I'm gonna get... That's my chance to get... I can't get a second star. Yoshi's gonna get his first star, so it's likely that if I get any additional stars, it's going to be through the bonus stars at the end of the game. X-Ray Payday. I don't even know what that game is. Okay. Okay, I get the sense. I only played this game once. I only played Mario Parties 1, 2, I played 3 once, then I played 4. Then I played Mario Party 9 on Wii once when I borrowed it from the library. Aha. I win. Yeah, I win by default of everyone else being out. Everyone else waited way too far. Yeah, my personal favorite... I love Mario Party 1 a lot more if it was on the Wii Virtual Console. I had the chance to play it more. But back in the day, I played Mario Party 1 a lot. When Mario Party 2 came out, I only once did I go back to Mario Party 1. I never owned the cartridges for Mario Party 1 or 2. I played Mario Party 3 once because a friend was sleeping over. Because I was still at sleepover age at that point. A friend was sleeping over, and the Blockbuster only had Mario Party 3 in it that night. So I got Mario Party 3 once. And the first home console Mario Party game I owned was Mario Party 4. And how I ended up owning that was we rented Mario Party 4 for GameCube, and for some reason my parents just never bothered to return the game, and we just ended up keeping it. And whatever, and we just never went back to that Blockbuster again. And then on Wii, Mario Party 2 came out on Wii in like 2007 or 8, and I was like, oh yeah, Mario Party 2 is out on Wii. Yeah, I'm ordering some Domino's pizza, and we are playing Mario Party 2 tonight. Oh boy. You know, I just thought of that. I have not had Domino's pizza in about a full calendar year, because the last place I lived, which is like 10 hours away from me now, I only visited once since I moved away, because I still have some friends and family over there. But there was a Domino's right down the street from me, and it was, when I moved there, a KFC closed and opened a, Wii Virtual Console is great, and that's why Nintendo had to destroy it, because they'd rather, I mean, why offer a way to legitimately buy classic, old games when you could take those off the market and then complain when people pirate them? Because, come on, like, if Nintendo has to choose between having something to complain about and having money, Nintendo would always choose having to have something to complain about, seemingly. Of course, so I'm a little cross, actually. No, I want to play 16. Let's wager 5 coins. Yeah, Clackaboy, you haven't had Domino's in years? Not a bad choice. That's not a bad way to roll, Clackaboy. I like Domino's. I don't like their real pizzas. I don't like the pizzas that are attempting to be like a legitimate pizza. I just get like that ridiculous, like, cracker, thin, square cut pizza. Like, that's not a pizza to me. That's a pizza-themed fast food item, but it's one that I find tasty when whatever brain parasite that I'm infested with decides it wants some. And then I get it, and it tastes great, and at the end of it, I'm like, okay, wow, I'd never seen this minigame before. This is like Tempest almost. Oh my gosh. This is so funktastic. I could just play this all day. Okay, so this is to I have to focus because I never played this minigame before. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's like, it's not, if I was playing against a second human player, this would be so much fairer. But like, Yoshi obviously knows how to play the game already because he's a doggone computer. Whereas I am like, oh, I don't know. Wow, how did I beat, I felt like I was doing terrible and I still won. Wow, Yoshi, you really do suck. I mean, I'm not going to be able to buy another star, but...
Yes.
Alright. What is Storm Chasers? Oh, it's a minigame I never saw before, and I get to play... Oh, it's this game. I know this. I know this game.
Start.
This one's fun. This one's fun. I went quiet, but yeah, this one's a lot of fun. I'm sure I'm gonna win this. I'm sure. Yeah, my victory is gonna depend on winning a lot of these mini games and getting a lot of those bonus stars at the end. I am the chomp. Oh no! Okay, I was about to say. For some reason, I was looking at Mario's. I'm like, how did Mario win? I'm sure I was. Yeah, I love those big chomp. I have to go ahead and get myself a Piranha Plant amiibo. I'm not big into toys and collectibles, but I want a Piranha Plant amiibo. I don't even want to use it. I just want a little figurine of Piranha Plant, and that happens to be the nicest one I know of. And I remember once I saw it at Best Buy, and I had the money for it, like, oh, I'll get it next time, and then I never saw it again. I'm sure that's not a rare amiibo. But now is not the time for me to be buying a Piranha Plant amiibo. I do not need a little 2-inch statuette of a man-eating plant in my life right now. Well, I do. I want it, but I don't need it. So. Alright. We're like 90... This is our last turn, so... Of course you're gonna get a flower. Oh, yeah, you're saying... Weren't you playing some... Serial Wars, weren't you playing some other Star Wars game last time we chatted while I was streaming? Or was this the same game you're talking about here? I know, like, there's a version of Star Wars Episode 1 Racer out on Switch. I'm just interested... I mean, there's so many games I'm interested in buying, right? But that's a game I might buy sometime and do a stream of it. I don't know. Alright, last dice roll. No, of course I just get... Hey, it's another event space, so that's nice.
Yes.
Oh, 1v3 with... And I'm it, so... Tube it or lose it. Okay, this is the first time I played on the offensive side of this. Oh, this is easy. This is easy peasy. I'm doing the practice. This is playable practice mode. They did a great job incorporating the practice mode without having to waste the... Okay, there we go. Let's go. Let's do this. Last mini game of the stream. And a fun one to play. This is a fun one. This is one of those 1v3 mini games that is equally fun. Oh, this is even easier than when I was practicing. Wow, I destroyed her. I crushed right on top of her. Just making sure that I'm not dropping frames at the... I'm very sure that, judging by the my final results, I will be able to successfully... Ooh, win it all. First, let's go over the bonuses. Now, if I win, it's going to be via bonus. The bonus is for the top tier player who got the most in minigames, and the bonus goes to Luigi. I'm in the lead right now. The second bonus we've got is unlucky bonus. Player landed on the most red spaces. Sorry about that. I might get this one actually. Oh, Peach. Okay. Oh, we both got it. So I'm neck and neck with Peach, I believe, right now. And that brings us to our final announcement. And the winner is... yes, I win. Nice. No, what I wanted... Where is... There's no Yoshi gloating in this, unfortunately. Alright. Let's, I'm just gonna skip all this and go to... Are we going to break 5,000 coins this stream? Yes, we are. Bonus Hoarder. Oh, Bonus Hoarder. Okay. Alright, so that is going to call it for this stream. I'm going to be back on, excuse me, why does it say Wednesday 6/11? It's supposed to be Saturday 6/11. I forgot to change it. It's not Saturday, Wednesday, today is Wednesday. Saturday's going to be the 11th at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be doing a playthrough of, no, well, not a playthrough, but a rewatch of Nintendo's E3 presentations from 2003 to 2008. And then the following day, we're going to be doing the next 6 E3s. So I'm going to send you over to Malpenheimer, who is a mad scientist cat, as you'd typically expect. So that's it for tonight's stream, and thank you all very much for watching.